Okay.
And right now, David Davis is, well, counting sheep. Right, David?
Yeah. Yes, I am. And there's not enough of them, apparently, in the Anza-Borrego State Park these days. We're talking bighorn sheep. Herd numbers have been on the decline, which is why their annual sheep count is so important. Gary Katz is the member of the Anza-Borrego Foundation. He's here with us, as well as Steve Beer, who is a park ranger, Anza-Borrego Desert. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
All right, what's the big deal over sheep? Who wants to tackle that question first of all?
Well, the sheep are an endangered species. Peninsula bighorn sheep survive in the peninsula ranges, which stretch from Highway 10 down to the Mexican border and Highway 8, and they are isolated by human development and highways. So these sheep can't intermingle with other wild bighorn that are, say, in the Chocolate Mountains or up in the San Gorgonio Range.
And the numbers have been declining. Talk about that a little bit.
They were declining. They were down to about 280 individuals range-wide, and that was in the 90s. But we've seen an increase of late. A couple of years ago, we had our largest count, 359 animals on the sheep count, which translates to about 900 range-wide. And this count, which just completed, was our second highest numbers.
Now, tell us what the foundation does with all of this.
Well, the Anza-Borrego Foundation helps support the park and the desert, and what we do is we're the ones that actually provide the funding for the bighorn sheep count, because the desert's such an important place. It's 600,000 acres, it's half the size of San Diego, and it's right here in San Diego. It's a resource that San Diegans often forget we have. And although it's hot out there now, you know, if you go out between October and May, it's a beautiful place to hike, to do nature.
Sure.
There's so many valuable resources. Bighorn sheep are also an indicator species, meaning that if they're doing well, there's mountain lions doing well. All the species of the desert are doing well. And one thing we really forget is the desert is second only to the rainforest in biodiversity. And you know, so many of us think of the desert as a dead place, but it's got so much life going on.
Oh, it's so beautiful most times of the year. But 115 gets a little warm this time of year, right?
It does.
Let's talk about that count. It's held every July. It's an annual thing. How do people get involved?
We usually have an orientation that's mandatory for first-time counters. There is a safety issue when you're out there in 115-plus degree temperatures.
Rattlesnakes.
So we want to rattlesnakes, but more so the heat. You're sitting in place. You're in place for 10 hours a day for 3 days. You're basically becoming part of the elements. So it's usually, the orientation is usually held the second or third week of June. I don't have the date for you for next year, but if they contact the Anza-Borrego Foundation or the Anza-Borrego Desert State Park Visitor Center, we have that information. Usually about the second week of May it's posted.
Why is it done in the middle of the heat? Why not, say, do it in the winter?
Wintertime, it's very hard to find sheep. They're off looking for places to lamb. The rams and the ewes are getting together to make families. In the wintertime, or excuse me, in the summertime, they have to come to water. They are basically in tune with the desert, and so they're very good at conserving their energy, conserving their water. But in temperatures that are 108 to 115 degrees, in that 3-day period, sheep will have to come to water. And so we get a good percentage of what is out there by counting at the watering holes.
Okay, we have to go, Gary, but if they want to know more about the foundation, is there a website?
Yeah, there's a website, theabf.org, and they can click on there to donate to help sheep, to help preserve the desert, and we hope that everybody checks us out and comes out to the desert. It's a great place to visit for families and everybody.
All right, Gary, Steve, thank you both for coming down.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
A lot more still ahead on Good Morning.